you have TikTok and you like basketball, you probably know Chilltown Hoops.
Children of all ages, act like you know.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Chilltown Hoops. I'm your host, Jermaine. The youngsters call me OG. My friends call me J-Dub. Let's get to it. You know, a great country singer, his name is Toby Keith. He said, I may not be as good as I used to be, but I'm as good once as I've ever been. And I see Steph Curry. He's getting a little long in the tooth, 36 years old. He'll be 37 when the playoffs start. So, you know, there's some mobility issues. You know, he doesn't move like he used to. He still gets up and down the floor, but he's not athletic as he was 5-6 years ago because I'm getting older. But I still can do what I used to do at least once, and I can do it as good as I've ever done it. And last night, I'm watching the Golden State Warriors spoil the Klay Thompson homecoming, completely spoiled it, as they tried to do. When the Warriors have been great, if you think about the years that the Warriors have been great, their calling card has been their defense. Everybody talks about how good Steph Curry shoots the long ball and how Klay shot the long ball and how awesome their offense was. But ultimately, it was their defense that got them to where that they were. In 2015, they had the number one defense in the league. Numero uno. They won the NBA championship that year. Sure, you needed some things to go your way, but I mean, they did win 67 games that year. They weren't a good team. They were an elite team. They fell apart in the finals in 2016, but they had the second best defense in the league that year. Second best defense in the league that year. In 2017, I think they had a top 3 defense that year. In 2022, number one defense in the league. Last night, that defensive masterclass in the last 5 minutes of the game. After Klay Thompson hit that long ball, I think it was with around 5.5, with about 5.25 minutes, about 5:15, something like that. He hit a 3. They scored one more bucket after that. That was it. Shut the door on them. Shooting gaps. Closing out at the long ball line. No missed assignments. Slowed down Kyrie Irving. And Luka just looked like he had ran out of gas. Steve Kerr said a while ago that this might be the deepest team that he's ever had. And I scoffed at that. And the reason why I scoffed at that is because I remember the deep teams he had. That team in 15, that was a deep team. That team in 16, that was a deep team that he had. He played 10, 11 guys. This crew right here is on par with that. 100% this crew is on par. He got 42 points from his bench last night. 42, as opposed to the 22 that the Dallas Mavericks got from their bench. I thought they did a great job in slowing down Luka last night in the last 5 minutes of the game. And what can I say about Steph Curry that hasn't already been said? Steph Curry was laying in the weeds last night. Up until the last almost 4 minutes of the quarter, in the fourth, he had a bucket. That was it. He had a bucket. But Curry has that kind of game where, because he's so lethal at the long ball line, and not only is he lethal at the long ball line, he's lethal in stretches that he could get going and it can bury you. And that is exactly what happened last night. He did the same thing in the Olympics. He did the exact same thing in the Olympics, where keep it close, he'll lay in the weeds, and then he'll just get going. I mean, he scored 10 points in the last 3 minutes of that quarter to end the game. I thought Luka ran out of gas last night, and that was largely due to them wearing him down defensively. I thought Wiggins did a damn good job on him. I do. I think Wiggins did a damn good job on him, pushing him away from the basket, being physical with him. And don't get me wrong, I think Luka is the best scorer in the game. I don't think that there's anybody who scores the basketball easier than him. But Wiggins, the athlete that he is, he was able to stay in front of Luka and make things tough on him. And that's really all you can ask for. That's all you can ask for from a guy at that point. And that's really all you can ask for. When you get guys like Buddy Hield coming off the bench, cracking the long ball, which is perfect for this Golden State Warriors system, cracking the long ball. This is just a recipe for success. Now, they had some lapses early in the second half, and they had some lapses early in the fourth quarter. They had some lapses where they end up leaving Klay Thompson open, who had it going. Now, I've been on record considering what Klay Thompson was doing last year, that I wasn't sure if I would close out on him as hard as I used to in the past. I wasn't sure if that was the thing to do, but I don't know if I'm going to leave him wide open. I don't care if he's 0 for 6. I'm not leaving him wide open. And he was getting looks last night where, he ended up wide open. And I'm thinking to myself, nah, we don't want to leave him wide open. No, we don't want to do that. Absolutely not. No, we don't want to do that. And that's ultimately what happened last night, which kept the Dallas Mavericks in the game. I don't think that they tried to utilize, let me rephrase that. They tried to utilize Derek Lively around the rim, but Draymond is just so good. One, as a quarterback, and two, as a disruptor. He's so good in the paint. His hands staying busy, digging, swiping at the ball, causing confusion and causing disruption. He's so good at that. And he's playing at a level defensively that rivals what he's done in the past when he was one of the best defensive players in the league, arguably the best defensive player in the league. How he's closed out at the long ball line, blocking shots at the long ball line. He's been fantastic, 100%. And this is who the Golden State Warriors are in terms of their staple. This is who they are. This is what makes them awesome. In 22, like I said, when they won the NBA championship, they had the number 1 defense in the league. When they got mopped out of the playoffs by the Lakers in 23, they weren't even a top 15 defense. They weren't a top 15 defense that year. This year, I think they're second or third. So whenever they're at the top of the league defensively, the Golden State Warriors are hell to deal with. I thought that the action that they ran really kept Dallas off balance. And I felt like the lack of action that Dallas ran in the meat and potatoes of the game, I felt like that really played into Golden State's advantage. Because Golden State they are a switch heavy team, but they're not nearly as switch heavy as other teams. They will fight around screens because you got teams who will hunt mismatches. Dallas in particular, they will hunt mismatches. And they tried to hunt the mismatch with Curry, but Wiggins didn't allow it nearly as much. Don't get me wrong. Curry did get switched on to him a couple of times, and he held his own. But for the most part, Wiggins fought around screens last night. With Wiggins fighting around screens, I'm seeing Buddy Hield. All of these guys are locked in. Melton is locked in. All of these guys are locked in when it comes to defense. And that's largely due to their quarterback. That's largely due, not their quarterback. Let me rephrase that. That's largely due to their interior lineman, Draymond Green. He's their signal caller. He is their signal caller. Now, when you have a big like Joker that stretches the defense, that's as good as he is, they're going to cause a multitude of problems for Golden State. A multitude of them, because that's where the hole is. But when you play small ball and they match up where you have a 5-man that's not as efficient, you can be beat by Golden State. You will be beat by Golden State, 100%. So with that being said, this Golden State Warriors team, and I know it's early, we're only in week 3, but they look serious. They look like they're serious. 100% they look like they're serious. Injuries have slowed a lot of guys down, and it's evident. Joel Embiid, he looks a step slower. He doesn't look like himself. That was one of the worst performances that I've seen. And I'm not buying the logic. Oh, he's rusty, because if he would have came back last night and got busy, Joel Embiid is back. So I'm not buying that. I'm not trying to hear that at all. If he would have came back last night and went 28, 13, and 3 blocks, Joel Embiid is back. But because he was less efficient and less effective, he's rusty. Well, what are ways that you can knock that rust off? Well, one of the ways you knock the rust off is you run. I don't care how good of a long ball shooting team you are. I don't care how good you stretch the defense. One of the ways to make yourself a better shooting team is the big man running, rim running. That's one of the best ways to do that. And Joel Embiid does not rim run. He does not create good looks at the rim. When you create good looks at the rim, which he didn't last night, because he's running to the break, he's running to the long ball line, which I'm still having a difficult time with that. He's running to the rim. He's running to the long ball line. In the process of him doing that, They're not getting anything easy at the rim. If he runs to the rim, they get something easy at the rim. What happens after that is that the defense collapses. When the defense collapses, we get more wide open looks at the long ball line. A lot more wide open looks. That wasn't going on last night. That was not going on. Nobody was getting to the rim. Everybody was running to the long ball line in transition. That's a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for disaster. Now, this team obviously goes as Joel Embiid goes. Obviously they do. And he's got to be better. Is he over? I'm not going to go that far, but he's got to be better. 100% he's got to be better. And since we're on the subject of better, I got to give credit to a guy named Dyson Daniels. When I watch Dyson Daniels, he gives me Alvin Robinson vibes. How he gets in the passing lane, how busy his hands are, how aggressive he is at beating guys to spots. I love everything about him. Everything. And I thought he did a great job on Jason Tatum last night. A great job. I thought he was physical with Jason Tatum. I thought he made Jason Tatum work for every bucket that he got. I thought he did a good job closing out on him, pushing him off of his spots. I thought he did a damn good job on Jason Tatum last night. I have to give him an immense amount of credit for that because that's what you do as a defender. One of the main reasons why I watch the Atlanta Hawks is Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels. I don't really watch them for much else except that. I pay a lot of attention to those two guys. I think Dyson Daniels is going to be an all-league defender this year. I think he's going to be an all-league defender. They beat the Celtics last night with their defense, and they destroyed them on the glass. Everybody talks about the Boston Celtics calling card, which is their long ball. Sure, the Celtics play defense too. They also rebound, but they got beat at their own game last night on the glass. That was the difference. That was the difference in the ball game. That and what Dyson Daniels did in terms of his job on Jason Tatum. What he did closing out on Jason Tatum, making Jason Tatum take tough shots. I thought he did a great job at that. A great job. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but if you defend and you rebound, you will always have a chance to win, no matter what. If you defend and you rebound, you will always have a chance to win. That's why Golden State is as good as they are. That's why Cleveland is at the top of the league. They're a top 10 defense. They're one of the best rebounding teams in the game. If you defend and you rebound, you will consistently be in games. Doesn't make a difference who you're playing against. And last night, maybe it's a fluke, maybe it's not. I don't know. But what I do know is the defense that I saw from the defense and the rebounding that I saw from Atlanta was what worked last night. It wasn't the fact that Boston just missed shots. The reason why the Celtics missed shots was because Atlanta played defense, because they were damn good at closing out at the long ball line. Damn good at closing out at the long ball line. Well, Jason Tatum sold. No, he didn't. He went up against a potential who I think, Dyson Daniels, I think is going to be an all-league defender. And he got outplayed. 100% he got outplayed. 7 for 9. He missed. He went 2 for 9 at the long ball line. And again, what I can't do is I can't fault him for that because that's his game. That's 100% by design with the Boston Celtics. Whenever they play, they're going to crack the long ball. That's just who they are. But you still have to do the other stuff in order to win. And they didn't do that last night. And I think Atlanta did. And because Atlanta did that, defending, getting on the glass, that's the difference in the ball game. The Golden State Warriors look like they're serious. Yes, they do. They look like they're serious. I'm going to revisit them. I'm going to consistently revisit them throughout the season. But they look like they're serious. And they look like they're serious primarily because they defend. And that's what's been their calling card in the past when they've won the NBA championship. So I'm going to keep my eye on Golden State. I'm going to keep my eye on what they're doing defensively because I already know what they do. I already know what they do as a long ball shooting team. I already know what they do as an offensive team. I'm going to keep my eye on them specifically on their defense and their rotation guys because that's what's been the biggest deal for me when it comes to Golden State. So I will see you guys soon. But until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. I will talk to you guys soon. But until then, Take it light. Take it.
It's going down.